So Caitlin Clark again in terms of the mainstream it's one of those things where we saw it last season during the off season. A lot of Caitlin Clark fans are just, almost to an extent like hunting for whatever Caitlin Clark content there is. And we're seeing it again right now. And it's one of those things where there is like a level of celebrity.
The level of attention Caitlin Clark commands in women's basketball is truly unprecedented. This is not simply about on-court performance or athletic skill. We are witnessing the rise of a cultural phenomenon that transcends the WNBA itself. Her influence extends far beyond the basketball season. Fans are no longer just engaged during the 8-week regular season. They are actively following her every move during an 8-month off-season, twice as long as the WNBA season. This creates an entirely new dynamic, one the league has never experienced before, and it highlights a shift in how athlete engagement works in the modern era. It's not merely casual social media attention. These fans are consuming content, analyzing her interviews, and sharing highlights from personal appearances, training sessions, and off-court events. That level of commitment represents a form of celebrity that is exceedingly rare in women's professional sports. Historically, WNBA players could rely on seasonal hype to build followings, but Caitlin has effectively broken that cycle. She has cultivated an audience that spans multiple platforms and formats, including social media, traditional sports coverage, lifestyle pieces, and even pop culture intersections. This continuous engagement ensures that she remains in the public conversation year-round, maintaining both relevance and influence while other athletes fade into the background during the off-season. The significance of this cannot be understated. By drawing attention consistently, Caitlin Clark has reshaped the value proposition of a WNBA athlete. She demonstrates that the league's biggest stars can exist not only within the confines of scheduled games, but also in cultural and media ecosystems that extend far beyond traditional basketball metrics. This changes everything about marketing, sponsorship, and league visibility. Brands, networks, and advertisers now recognize the tangible economic and cultural impact a single player can have, and Caitlin is setting the blueprint for future WNBA superstars. Her off-court presence is becoming as important as her on-court performance, signaling a new era where personal brand and media engagement amplify the league's reach. Moreover, the implications for player management and league operations are profound. Teams now must consider off-court visibility and fan engagement when evaluating star players. It is no longer enough to measure talent purely by points, rebounds, or assists. Instead, player influence over fan interaction, media attention, and cultural relevance has become a core factor in the WNBA ecosystem. Caitlin's popularity creates a ripple effect, driving viewership, ticket sales, and social media engagement across the league. Her unique appeal demonstrates that elite athletes in women's basketball can cultivate a lasting presence that benefits themselves, their teams, and the league as a whole. In essence, what Caitlin Clark has achieved is not merely individual fame. It is the creation of a new operational paradigm for the WNBA. The league now has to adapt to a reality where star power, cultural relevance, and year-round visibility dictate both strategic marketing and revenue opportunities. Caitlin's impact extends to every facet of the sport, from television contracts and ticket sales to sponsorship deals and public perception. The fact that her off-season engagement eclipses traditional league activity underscores the scale of her influence. She is no longer just a player. She is a brand, a narrative, and a cultural touchstone. The WNBA is witnessing the emergence of a model where athletes like Caitlin Clark redefine both the league's identity and the future of women's professional basketball.
In a Taylor Swift documentary, Caitlin, they made sure, and this is one of those things where it's like, you just kind of know if they're being smart about things. So in the Taylor Swift documentary, she's playing in Indianapolis, and obviously, am I right in saying this was was it one of the ones where it was like one day she was there in like the crowd, and the next day she was, there was such a big deal made about it, she was in the VIP section with Travis Kelce. They made sure, to put Caitlin Clark in the doc.
Caitlin Clark's ability to generate year-round attention emphasizes a structural challenge in the WNBA, the extended off-season. While NBA and NFL athletes have short off-seasons filled with structured training, media events, and preseason activities, WNBA players face an 8-month period with limited visibility. This leaves a vacuum in fan engagement that can only be filled through personalities, stories, and cultural relevance. Caitlin Clark fills this gap naturally, providing a consistent narrative that keeps fans invested, sponsors interested, and media coverage active. Her ability to sustain interest outside of basketball underscores the importance of creating long-term storylines for fans. Unlike college basketball, where athletes may remain with a program for several seasons, WNBA players often have shorter tenures and less continuity. Caitlin's year-round visibility allows the league to maintain an ongoing storyline, bridging multiple seasons, events, and media appearances. Fans are not just watching games, they are following her journey, interactions, and growth as both a player and a cultural figure. This is a model for how professional women's basketball can cultivate sustained engagement despite inherent structural challenges.
Wow, was it 3 years ago? 2 years ago? But we did see it at a point in time. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, the year it was 2 years ago. Where Taylor Swift just appearing in anything got views for Taylor Swift fans. And you're seeing it with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark just being there at an NFL game with Taylor Swift. NFL game at a Taylor Swift concert is going to get Caitlin Clark fans watching the documentary.
The intersection of Caitlin Clark and pop culture is becoming increasingly significant, particularly with her recent appearance in Taylor Swift's Indianapolis concert documentary. It wasn't a major segment, but the production team made a very calculated decision. Caitlin appeared briefly in the VIP section alongside Travis Kelce, a split-second inclusion that was enough for fans to immediately notice, screenshot, and amplify the moment across social media. This strategic placement isn't random. The documentary team understood the value Caitlin brings in terms of clicks, engagement, and conversations. This is a playbook long used in professional sports. Leverage star power to boost visibility. Just as networks learned that showing Taylor Swift at NFL games increased viewership, now they are reverse engineering the strategy, featuring Caitlin Clark to draw her fan base to unrelated content. What this demonstrates is Caitlin's emerging influence beyond the WNBA itself. Fans and media are engaging with her in a multidimensional way. It's no longer about game nights or highlight reels. It's about a continuous narrative that spans entertainment, culture, and personal branding. Caitlin's presence in a high-profile documentary introduces her to audiences who might not watch the WNBA but will become curious once they recognize her cultural footprint. This is a new kind of athlete visibility, one that blends sports with mainstream media, and it underscores her unique position in professional basketball. This visibility also raises the stakes for how the WNBA and teams market their players. Traditional strategies, highlighting in-season stats and team achievements, are no longer sufficient. Caitlin is setting a precedent where year-round relevance and cultural crossover define a star's value. Her appearances in events like the Taylor Swift documentary are creating new touchpoints with fans who may never attend a live WNBA game, but are now emotionally invested in her story. The consequence is that other players, teams, and the league must acknowledge this evolving dynamic to remain competitive in audience engagement. Moreover, Caitlin's influence impacts how media companies, sponsors, and networks approach coverage. Every brief appearance, social media post, or public interaction is now a potential driver for fan engagement and revenue. Her fan base is consistently seeking content, demanding visibility even during the off-season. This level of engagement has never been seen in women's professional basketball before and challenges the WNBA to innovate around narrative, storytelling, and player promotion. It also illustrates the broader cultural impact Caitlin has achieved. She is a conduit connecting women's basketball to mainstream pop culture, which in turn attracts new fans to the sport. Finally, this type of crossover signifies an important shift in athlete marketing. By being featured in a high-profile documentary, Caitlin Clark is no longer just a basketball player. She's a cultural influencer. Fans don't just follow her on the court, they're tracking her public appearances, personal connections, and media interactions. This demonstrates that star power now encompasses influence, relatability, and engagement outside of traditional competition. Caitlin Clark's ability to drive attention across multiple sectors illustrates a paradigm shift, positioning her not only as the face of the WNBA, but as a transformative figure in professional women's sports.
Even still, something like this, like Liz Kitley just posted a bunch of pictures, because obviously Liz Kitley, I don't know if they're friends or in a relationship, I have no idea, but with Monica Sanano, who's obviously one of Caitlin's friends, and then out of nowhere, Caitlin Clark randomly just appears with Liz Kitley in a photo at the end, and everyone suddenly is sharing that photo. They're like, oh shit, Caitlin Clark's with Liz Kitley and Monica, and it's like, I mean, they are friends. So yeah, it will be an interesting one to see what ends up happening to Liz Kitley, because she was terrible with the Aces. I would assume Liz Kitley is going to be taken by...
Caitlin Clark's influence extends beyond basketball because she generates measurable attention wherever she goes. The PGA Tour, college basketball programs, and podcast networks have all learned that merely mentioning her name improves metrics. There's genuine curiosity surrounding Caitlin, and it transcends standard fandom. Analysts, reporters, and even social media commentators reference her because she drives engagement and sparks conversations. Unlike manufactured hype, this is organic interest stemming from her ability to impact both games and the wider culture. Her presence ensures that networks, teams, and brands can capitalize on fan attention, resulting in higher viewership, ticket sales, and sponsorship opportunities. However, this fame comes with serious consequences that extend beyond positive exposure. Caitlin has already faced multiple stalking incidents, requiring a level of security that is exceptional in women's sports. The risk of harm is a constant factor in her daily life, prompting the need for professional monitoring around the clock. For most players in the WNBA, these kinds of security concerns are unheard of. For Caitlin, they are reality dictated by her level of visibility. Even a 1% risk in such situations is enough to demand serious action. This shows that the benefits of high-level celebrity come with equally high responsibilities and risks, creating a balance that the WNBA, teams, and sponsors must acknowledge when building around her. The connection between Caitlin Clark and emerging players also highlights her influence. For example, Lex Caitlin, a younger player with potential, sees attention simply by association with Clark. Fans dissect every photo, every interaction, and every appearance, creating massive engagement irrespective of Lex Caitlin's own on-court performance. The fact that celebrity can overshadow statistics and game performance indicates how modern sports fandom is evolving. Star athletes are not just judged by points or rebounds. They're measured by their ability to captivate audiences, create narratives, and maintain engagement across multiple contexts.
Going to happen. But yeah, like, look, with all these situations, we have to be very real here. There is this level of fame and kind of intrigue that comes with Caitlin Clark that's greater than sports. There is this, like, because of how little basketball Caitlin Clark plays. And by the way, I would say how little basketball every WNBA player plays. Because I don't count Unrivaled as basketball. It's not, it's gimmick ball. It's a sport that vaguely resembles the sport of basketball. Project B hasn't started yet with all these players. The off-season's so long and they play so little actual basketball. Like, at least we're going to see Caitlin Clark in March. But they play so little ball that there has to be, for fans to say